Mylena. Good morning, Auntie. Look at that. She's even, oh, bless her heart. And then we got Sharon Price saying happy Thanksgiving to everyone. She's got an event coming up on Monday evening that I shared on our socials. And you're going to want to check that out. It's online. And getting ready for the holidays can be stressful for people. And she can help you to get through a lot of that. All right. Whew. Now we're going to talk about some great people we have in Frederick, right? People of Frederick is sponsored by the Healing Storm. Shannon and her team strive to create an environment where you're seen, heard, and valued. The Healing Storm focuses on alternative holistic healing methods to relieve your stress and pain. They can do massage therapy, Reiki, lymphatic massage, and they have an entire healing journey program. Go to thehealingstorm.com, get details, and schedule an appointment. The Healing Storm is a place to unwind and recharge through alternative healing. They are right across from Frederick Health, so conveniently located on Toll House Avenue. All right, Rich never thought he'd be in banking, but he sure got lucky when he landed at Woodsboro Bank. I had an enjoyable conversation with Rich Ohnmacht. You know, this is the second time I've been in this building. And Woodsboro Bank, this is Rich Ohnmacht, the president of Woodsboro Bank. Thank you for hanging out with me today.
Oh, sure. Thanks for stopping by.
This is such a cool building.
We think so too.
It's really...
We like it a lot. We've been here about 6 years. I joined the bank 5 years ago, so this was my first home, and it's great.
Yeah, so we're on East 2nd Street, 8 East 2nd?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so Woodsboro Bank, I am really, as a marketing person and as a community person, I'm always really fascinated about how well Woodsboro Bank has encapsulated the Frederick community over the past several years especially. How do you feel that has happened? Because when I first moved to Frederick, Woodsboro Bank was in Woodsboro. It was very small, and now I don't feel that at all.
Right. Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah. First of all, that doesn't go unappreciated.
Yeah.
And I think it's a question we get a lot. It's a tough question to give a real short answer to, because I think there's been a lot of things that have gone into that. I think if you go back to the history of the bank, 7-8 years ago, Woodsboro almost merged with another local bank. That ended up, to make a long story short, not happening. And so the bank was at a bit of a crossroads, because the path forward kind of had a hiccup in it.
Yeah.
And at that time, Steve Hine, who is our CEO, joined the bank. And he started a process with a lot of steps to it. I think the most important one, I would say, is the people.
100%.
Right.
You guys have a staff that is just top notch. You get voted best employer pretty much year in, year out, which is a real big testament in this industry. I don't feel like you guys have that, and excuse the term, incestuous, like people going and coming like some other banks do in the region.
Right.
You guys really seem to keep your key people for a long time.
Right. We have less turnover, definitely, than other banks that I've worked at. I've been in the banking industry now over 30 years.
Yeah.
And that is a key ingredient. And we've been able to attract talent. I mean, what we try to do is attract the best people, empower them, and that's something we're able to do a lot easier than larger companies, larger banks. We can pivot quickly, we can try things, we can work when there's an opportunity quickly to take advantage of it. And I know it's working when I see others in the community in the banking field, which is a pretty tight-knit community. So they say, hey, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
You got any openings?
Yeah.
That type of thing, that's a tell that you're doing something right.
Of course.
And sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't.
Well, as I said, when you're voted best employer so many years running, it's not a fluke, right? And so that is, again, a big testament. And I know a lot of your key people, and they're just wonderful people, and everyone is involved, and Steve as well. I mean, the CEO of this bank is just out there interacting and a part of the community. And speaking of community, some people who are maybe new to Frederick or don't understand, when they hear community bank, they may equate that word to small, and that's not true at all, right?
Right. That is, I don't think that's what defines you as a community bank.
Right.
Just the fact that you are small, and we are smaller than most of our competition. Although we've doubled in size since I got here, and with that, we have more ability to do some larger loans. We have more resources to invest in new products, new facilities, new technological increases, which is really important because that levels the playing field with us in larger competitions. But I think like the secret sauce, I would say, of being in a community bank is it's not just our sales colleagues, it's really the whole bank is willing to go out and show up for community events, sponsorships. I remember when I first started, I spent a lot of my career at a larger bank, and I said, this is great that we have these 4 events coming up, but how are we going to get people to show up? And they said, just you watch. And sure enough, people show up. And I know there was an example recently. We had a real flurry of activities, and I kind of listed them out with some help from our marketing director, Samantha Catrona. And there were literally 40 events over 40 days that we had, people showing up, engaging, and you don't do that without the whole bank behind it.
Of course, absolutely. The one nice thing about a community bank where your competition can't do for the customer side is the accessibility of key people within the bank. And I think that is just phenomenal if you have maybe you want to start a new company, or maybe you want to invest in commercial real estate or things like that. You have access to decision-making people where you're not calling an 800 number and God knows who you're talking to or where they're located.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have an 800 number.
No.
Our 800 number is you call my cell phone,
yeah,
or you call Steve's cell phone, or Chris Clemens, or Thomas Ramsey.
That's what I mean. I mean, I think it's really, really great as a customer because, if something goes sideways, you can really reach out to the people and say, hey, what should I do? Or how can you help? And it's just that's not available.
Sure. Yeah, and I think another example of that is we are pretty good, I like to think, if somebody is working with a company, an accountant, a real estate broker, and they want to have a conversation to just understand the process, understand what's feasible, what's not feasible, and we can get an experienced person, whether it's me or one of the commercial bankers or a branch manager in front of them, and really walk them through the process. And if it's not feasible, we'll tell you that and say, but here's what you need to do to make it feasible, or here's some other resources to help you make it happen. Maybe it's something we can't do.
Right.
But there's a government program. Let's get you talking to those folks.
Yeah. I think that again, seeing you guys out in the community all the time, you see the blue shirts or whatever you guys happen to be wearing all the time, and I just think that is a phenomenal way to.
I probably should have worn one of those.
I
do have a pin on though. I do have my Woodsboro 125th anniversary pin on at least.
Yeah, 125. That's pretty incredible as well. Where you guys have stayed Woodsboro Bank for that time.
Right.
So I believe that little kerfuffle that happened years ago was meant to be, I think, for Woodsboro
Things happen
Bank,
for a reason, Danny.
Really
That's what they say.
They really do. How did you get into banking?
Well, that's an interesting story. I was not, like most people, you don't grow up wanting to be a banker, like Seinfeld, or like Kramer on Seinfeld. That's a random reference, but those that like Seinfeld will remember it.
Yeah.
I had a degree in urban planning, and so I went to go be a city planner down in Norfolk, Virginia, and quickly realized that was not going to be my long-term plan.
Okay.
And I was struggling what to do next, and somebody just suggested, well, why don't you go get into one of these big bank training programs? It's like getting an MBA and they pay you. And I said, that sounds pretty good. So I did that. I ended up relocating to Philadelphia and went through PNC's credit training program back in the 90s.
Okay.
And worked there for about 4 years, but and it was going okay, but I had a sense that I would be happier at a smaller bank, and so I joined Farmers and Mechanics
I had a passbook savings account at Farmers and Mechanics.
People definitely remember that bank fondly, and that was a great opportunity for me.
So was that? Did you locate here?
I did.
Okay, because they were based here, right?
They were, they sure were. Yeah, right on TJ Drive.
Yeah.
So I moved here and worked with that bank until we were, in the early 2000s, acquired by Mercantile.
Right.
I ended up being transferred down to Laurel, so I moved to Howard County.
Okay.
But then one thing led to another, and ended up coming back to. So I like Frederick so much I moved here twice. Which not many people can say that.
Sometimes you have to go away to really appreciate.
Well, I always liked Frederick. I always thought it was a really neat town. I grew up not so much in Frederick, but in Carroll County, so I was aware of it. And
Frederick adjacent.
Yeah, so here I am.
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, we love the fact that you guys just really, really seem to, like I say, care about the community and want what's best, not only for your staff, but for the community at large.
Sure.
Is there anything coming in the next 6 to 12 months, for the bank itself, or things you may see on the horizon?
How much time do we have? There's a lot. It's a very timely question. We're right in the middle of our 25 business plan. And I would say a couple of things that are most top of mind for us right now is colleague development. We expect a lot out of our colleagues. We know how important they are to delivering to the community, to the shareholders, to the clients. Those are basically our four main stakeholders, we think. And so we're going to continue to invest in colleagues. We also have a slew of new products coming out. The most important one, I think, to me is something called Banno, which is going to take our existing online banking product, which admittedly is not state of the art, and it's going to make it state of the art. So it will have all the bells and whistles. That's probably
one of the biggest things I think that is painful for small banks is that if you've come from a big bank, they tend to have the resources to create all these really simple, newfangled things.
Right.
And I know it takes a lot of time and money to do that.
It does, but we use a third party who developed that as opposed to developing it in-house. So, we're really excited.
Nice.
That's been something we've been talking about and are able, again, having the resources.
Right.
We can execute that in the first half of 25.
Yeah, and client acquisition or customer acquisition. Are you guys targeting any specific industries or people? I mean, obviously, I know you guys want everybody.
Sure. No, but we do have some niches where, if you were to look at our website, you'd see pages on medical and dental. You'd see a page on religious organizations, contractors, residential builders.
Okay.
Those are areas that we have internal expertise, and we try to leverage by going deeper into those areas. And I will say, I've never been in a bank where so much of our business, thankfully, comes in from referrals, whether it's existing clients, what we call COIs, or centers of influence, which tend to be your CPAs, your brokers, your attorneys. And we've developed a lot of, where we trust them, they trust us.
Sure.
So we get to look at those
Well, when you treat people well, it's very easy to refer new customers.
It's a pretty simple formula.
Yeah, it is.
But it's simple, but not easy.
No, right, exactly. Well, we're so glad that you're in our community. Rich Ohnmacht, if you need any banking, I know changing banks is a pain. It really is, but they'll make it easy. And just
it's not as hard as you think,
I
maybe,
know.
but it's not on somebody's to-do list necessarily.
I know. It's never part of the fun thing. But once you get with a good bank, you never have to leave. So we love that. All right, we really appreciate your time.
Appreciate you as well, Danny. Thanks so much.
Yes, want to thank Rich and Woodsboro Bank for that. We're going to take a quick break. Then I'm back in the same building with Steve Sorrell and GTM Architects. All of that is coming up just after these.